What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of East Meets West. I'm your host, the host, Fanshaw Jake, here with our host, Matt Radicke. Matt, how was Week 9 for you?
It was great.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
It was great.
Well, Week 9 brought us all division games, so why don't we dive right into the action? We had Charlie going up against myself. Charlie going into this game, 4-4, going up against me, 4-4. Charlie coming out with the win, 100.92 to 82.14. What?
Continue.
Okay. For Charlie,
Welcome back, everybody. Let's go to East Meets West. I am actually your host, owner of both sides of the bun, Joe, here with our co-host Matt, and just back from suspension 2 weeks
That's
ago.
tells you how much the guy pays attention to the show. This is 2 weeks now.
Yeah, I said 2 weeks.
He wasn't. He said just back.
Jake, owner of the Globo Gym Purple Cobras.
Charlie had Murray scored less than 39 points this week. Another good week from Robinson, a little less than 16. For myself, both my running backs got hurt. CMC getting hurt again after a big day. Jackson after my trade, which we'll talk about later, getting hurt.
Right after the trade.
Literally. 7 players under 6 points this week. Not going to get it done. That's why I scored 82 points. Thoughts on the game and these teams going forward, Matt?
Yeah. Your team is not looking great right now.
No, my team does not.
Yeah, Charlie's is looking pretty good. D-Hop had a bad week, but that ain't gonna happen.
I'm picking up players, dropping them, picking them up, dropping them.
I think you picked up and dropped the same guy like 14 times.
Who's actually on the practice squad? He's actually listed as the free agent right now, so that tells you where my team's at.
Just like some input?
No, absolutely not. We're going to move on.
Quick math for you. If I said 56.34, what do you think of?
I think of 2 players on my team.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, Christian McCaffrey. And I say 82.14. What do you think of?
I think of my 2 running backs getting hurt.
I see your final total. I was looking across the board. I'm like, shit, no one could have underscored me or scored less than me this week, right? But no, there you are.
Yeah, here I am.
Yeah.
Not good.
No.
Coming into the playoff stretch, this is not
0
something
than Justin Jackson.
Yes, I have had.
What he got? He's one of the injured running backs.
Yeah, I've had 0 points from Justin Jackson.
Are we
after making a big
including
trade.
Christian McCaffrey's injury as one of those injured running backs?
Yeah, do I have somebody else? Am I missing
No,
somebody?
I mean like he already had 32 points.
That's why I said he had a big day, but why are you questioning?
No, just not a great spot, man.
Yeah, well,
0 from Atlanta's defense.
yeah, keep your comments to yourself. We're going to move on.
Donovan didn't look great.
He didn't.
He's hurt.
Third straight
He's
week in
coming
a
off
row
the
for a
injury.
lock.
He's coming off the injury though.
Under 7.
That means he's due for a big week going up against Matt, who's predicting a fucking win next
Right.
week.
Yeah.
I've been predicting to win for 6 weeks in a row now. I've lost every one of them. Actually, I only
It makes me
one,
feel
one of them I've actually predicted me to lose.
When's is Mark Andrews good for one as well? Yeah.
Do you want to keep talking about my team, or can we fucking move on? We all got so much time. We're going to move on. Matt going up against Steve this week, as Matt just mentioned, 6 weeks in a row now with a loss. Coming into this game, Matt was 3-5, Steve was 4-4. I believe Steve was on top of the division going in. Coming out to win 127.5 to 100.8. Steve now 5-4, taking over the scoring total lead. I missed injuries in the last one, but I think we talked
No,
about
your running backs got hurt.
Yeah, that's about it. David Johnson going into this one, I believe he was hurt or got hurt
He
during
got
the
a
game.
concussion.
During the game, right? Yeah, so he ended up playing, getting hurt.
He
Judy
played like half a quarter.
played. Ingram out, Chubb out, who's supposed to be back this week, and Freeman out.
Deontay Johnson played the full game.
Oh yeah, that's right, DeAndre Johnson. You were
Unfortunately, his quarterback has COVID, so there's that.
He chose the right receivers.
I did, actually. I really was just trying to ask around to make sure. I wanted somebody to talk me off the cliff of wanting to start Antonio Brown this week.
Yeah.
And I got different answers from fucking everybody.
Really?
Yeah.
People told you to start Antonio Brown?
Yeah.
Who? Call them out.
Nah.
Are they here?
Yeah.
Is it Mike?
2 people here.
Mike and Jake?
Hold on, time out.
Yeah.
Read the tape.
shit Judy because I was
Yeah, he said shit Judy.
I was like, just to make America aware, I did tell you to sit Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Hang on. America's
Did I
going to
actually
speak
think you
now.
said sit
I
Antonio?
know, I can't make him. Well,
Yeah.
I make him for mine too. There's
America
Doesn't matter
said,
who I put.
starting Antonio Brown, question mark, love it. That
Yeah.
doesn't sound like an
And then
endorsement to
you
me.
followed up- You followed up with a. They didn't sign the guy to not throw it to him, right?
Well, according to Bruce Arians, he's not. He's getting less snaps this week.
Cool. Well, I mean, he probably.
Yeah,
I ain't got much starting room on my team.
Bruce Arians is not a fan of Antonio Brown. Not like that guy.
Well, here's a way to dive into the trade deadline since you didn't have much. Did you have any close calls, anything like that?
Yes.
Any offers?
Yes.
Do you mind spilling the beans?
Yeah, I have one with Mike, but I couldn't make the move because I needed a receiver this week, and I couldn't get a receiver that was going to play this week off.
I'm assuming it was Boyd who was off?
Yes.
He told me he was taking a nap.
I did, and then I got back up, and then you already made that trade, and then you offered me Kenny G for him straight up, and I said no because I need a player that's playing
Oh
this
wait,
week.
Kenny G for Waller?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. I needed a player that's playing this week. I have to win.
Did
I
Waller
can't.
play this week?
He did, yeah. He had a decent week. He had.
Looking
10
back
10
on
Well,
it.
we're going to dive into that game.
Looking
so
back
let's
on it,
get
you wish you
into
pull the trigger?
Huh?
Do you wish you pull the trigger on that?
Not
Probably.
even here.
Okay.
Judy, 22 points. David Johnson, I'm assuming he got hurt early, less than 2 points. Was the concussion early in the game? First
Oh,
quarter?
David Johnson got hurt. Yeah, like in the second drive.
He had 2 carries for 16 yards.
Yeah.
8 yards a carry.
On Steve's side, Dalvin Cook looking like maybe MVP of the league, right, of the CBFFL right now, and maybe, I guess they're reckoning good enough, but having a hell of a year, a little less than 39 points, fantasy-wise. Again, like I said, he might be the MVP of this league. Kelsey, a little less than 21, and AJ Brown, a little less than 19. So Steve's I guess you would
Doing
say
pretty
that,
fucking good.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good. Exactly what you want, I guess, out of them three.
Just another fun fact: Dalvin Cook's last 2-point totals is more than you scored this week.
That's not good.
More than you scored
It
this
shows
week,
you
too, or
why
not?
the guy took over the points lead.
It's also more than I scored this week, but
Thoughts on these two teams going forward?
Steve's team's good, Matt's team's hurt.
Not even my team's hurt. Like, my team didn't play bad. It was just.
Skill position players.
I gotta say, look, Matt, I'm in the
Steve's skill
It was
position
David Johnson got
players are hitting at the right time.
And then.
I'm in the
yeah,
same
and then
boat,
his
but, like,
players that played me.
Don't
losing
mind
6
those
in a
that are
row.
talking.
Oh, it's not fun.
Yeah.
I've done it before.
Yeah.
I'm 3 away from tying the record.
Let us know when we should go to the next game.
Thoughts on Steve's team? Is that the best team in the East right now? I know points and all that. Everyone's coming in. I mean,
yeah,
is that a given? Best roster? If we just look at
Best roster?
Yeah.
Best roster.
Best roster?
Yeah. Best roster in the East right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Best roster in the league.
No.
I guess we'll dive into that a little later, right? Average Joe's going up against Shirts Off, Pants Down, the defending champs, coming out with another win here, making a comeback in the standings. Bry with a 101.46 win.
Bryce scored under 108 points, his mark to be a good team each week, according to when he's talking with Mike. You have to score. You have to score over 108 for it to be considered a legitimate win.
What
So.
a number.
Yeah.
Injuries
He
going
scored
into the
on that.
game. Harris ended up playing. Coleman out. Montgomery got hurt, and Kittle out for the year. Right? Was there a reason Tom
He-
holding on?
8
He
weeks.
broke his foot,
Right.
but apparently he's saying that he wants to come back in a couple weeks. The team's like,
Nah.
chill, dude, you broke your foot.
Yeah,
Like,
not good.
come back next year.
Diving into the game, 7 players scoring under 10 for Tom, including both running backs getting less than 12 points. That's David Montgomery and Ezekiel Elliott. 2 players I tried to trade for the trade deadline. I know you said you tried to inquire about Montgomery.
I tried to get Montgomery to
me.
flip to you. Yeah.
Right. On Bry's side, Metcalf, I believe this is coming off the week where he didn't score much. I believe it's 2 weeks in a row he had a big week, a little less than 21, and then Ingram stepping up at the tight end position for Bry, a little less than 14.
Yeah.
Thoughts on these teams going forward?
Wait, last week Metcalf scored 34
Metcalf did
points.
good last week.
I said the past 2.
Yeah.
I said coming off. I said I believe this is his
Yeah,
second,
yeah.
second game in a row where he scored big points.
Yeah, Bryce scored 101. I mean, I guess he did have Brady score only like 2 points, so it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. 4 and 5. Bryce climbed back into the standings, got even record wise for I guess 3rd place right now.
Is he 4 and 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, he passed me. I'm in last
Shit.
place.
Yeah, Bryce, Matt's sitting at 3 and 6 in
Good
third
for him.
place. Tom 4 and 5, but I think you can say that these are 2 completely different 4 and 5s right now. Obviously, Brian on the way up.
Joe's still heating up, though.
Joe's.
Yeah,
So
as
Tommy
a matter
won-
of fact,
Tommy
they're
win the
still
trade?
heating up.
I mean, we got a couple more weeks, I guess, to
Yeah.
decide that. But at the time, even though I just said
Yeah.
I was trying to trade for Ezekiel Elliott, I was trying to get him cheap, but I just don't foresee him doing much the rest of the year. Like I
He'll
said,
beat me.
these
That's
are
about
2
it.
different 4 and 5 teams, and it looks like Bry's making his run at a playoff spot. I think that's a couple in a row for him now.
Yeah.
And I think that's a couple in a row for Tom. or he might be on like a win-loss type of streak right now.
He beat Charlie one of these weeks. Was it last week? He beat Charlie.
Week 8, I think.
He beat Charlie last week.
Okay, so
He beat me week 8, something like that.
No, he beat Charlie week 8.
still in it, needs a lot to happen, but we'll see what goes on there. Moving on to the West, the sanitation department moving to 9-0. Congratulations, 4 wins away from the perfect regular season. They defeated the Polska Mafia this week by actually almost 30 points. Tommy going to 2-7, staying
Man,
in
now you
the
called it.
West.
We said if we give Tommy 15, you said you can give Tommy 30.
I'll give
Now
him
think
30.
about it. Yeah.
That's
right about
No, yeah, Mike still beat him.
right about the points. Yeah.
Nah,
They beat him. He
Oh, yeah, that's right. He would have won by 30.
Yeah, but a .08. Sorry.
Yeah. Injuries going into this one. Sanders out, and then Mike made the trade that we'll talk about for Kenny Galladay, was out this week. For the sanitation department, Josh Allen, big week. I think that's a bounce back. He's had a couple of big weeks in a row. Shark and McLaren combined for a little less than 46. And putting up 120. I think Mike did this earlier in the year. I don't know the exact number, but he had 4 players score less than 7 and still put up 120 points. It tells you the potency of his roster. For Tommy, the trade he made, we were just talking about Taylor, less than 9 points. He's kind of coming back to earth. And Evans and Gronk, I guess you could say are his 2 skill position players, combined for less than 10 points. Excuse me, I think, less than 10 points. And then 4, he was part of the trade that we talked about. Still having a big year, a little less than 19, but that was probably the only bright spot for them. Thoughts on these teams going forward? We got Mike sitting at 9-0. Tommy looks like this might have been the nail in the coffin for any type of playoff spot for him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I think we can kind of knock Tommy out. It's ping pong ball time for Tommy.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
he's gonna catch himself right back down with the lottery this year.
One
high
ball.
end of the
So he
lottery.
went for 1 ball, right?
Low end of the high end of the lottery, but low end of the lottery, I guess you can say.
Although,
that's
I mean,
it, it's really
Yeah, like
everything.
Taylor had 8.4. He fumbled, didn't look good after that.
Yeah.
Fuller had 18.5. So like,
Yeah, that's what I said.
look
He's-
at that trade.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. Like
Yeah.
I said, to throw that in there, Fuller did have a nice day, another nice day. I don't know if you can bring up the schedule, but Mike 9-0 going forward. Do we see a loss? I think you should play
Well,
him.
he plays the juggernaut of my team this week. So
That's this week.
yeah, that's this week.
And then he has our guest,
Steve.
Steve as his last opponent from the East. So that might be his last
And then he
hurdle.
goes Alex in November, the second to last
Oh, that's
week.
right, Thanksgiving.
And you
right?
close the year with Brock. Okay.
Not scoring teams that have been winning. Alex will talk about,
Yeah.
but not teams that actually score, and that's what this team does. Is they score a lot of points.
3 teams over 500
Yeah.
on the
Yeah, so we can't say he didn't earn it
schedule
if
for
he
him.
gets there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, like I said, I think that was pretty much it for Tommy at 2-7, and we'll see what happens next week in Week 10 with the sanitation department. Moving on, this was a big one this week.
upset of the week.
Yeah, I believe this was actually really big for the West. Brock, the Brock football team, going up against Jose Hooligans. Brock with looks like almost a 17-point win, a little over 17 points. Injuries going into this game. Gibson played, Juju played, Shepard played, Eckler still continues to be out, and Font for Jose played. Brock, big day from Rodgers, a little less than 29 points. That was pretty much it. I think the rest of his roster was kind of stagnant. Nothing really to write home about.
Juju had a good
Juju.
Yeah, 4 players over 11, but you know what I
Juju
mean?
almost had 20.
What do you have, 18?
18.3.
I probably should have wrote the high of 18. So yeah, I guess that was a big week for Juju considering the year that he has been having. For Jose, Hill, Tyreek Hill, a little less than 29 points with a big day. 5 players under 8 for Jose, including Corey Davis, who scored 0 points, which was a big hurt coming from your wide receiver too. Brock's sitting at 5-4, I believe, the 3rd spot in the West right now, which is a playoff spot. Jose at 4-5 on the outside looking in. I believe he's in 4th place. Thoughts on this game? Thoughts on these 2 teams? It's your division, so we'll.
Yeah,
go.
I didn't expect Brock to win. I think we all had Jose across the
Yeah.
board, right?
Yeah,
But now he
Did we?
pulled it out. I think so.
yeah, I believe so. I gotta double check. That.
I might have taken Brock.
It might have been.
But yeah, no, good showing from Brock. He has to keep doing it though, because Jose's team, he has a lot of points on Brock, and he's right on his heels. So.
Yeah, but that game, that's I guess you consider it like a half a game at that point when you're behind on the points. But nonetheless, being up right now, that game is big for him. So, any thoughts on the West?
Nah, I mean, Jose's like is good to have in fourth place there because he still has a good team.
Yeah,
and he's
right.
going to be
He's
fighting
in
with
striking
someone
distance.
and still bouncing back.
Just
and
like a
forth.
win for Joe, who we'll talk about next. We'll keep him in striking distance. He's in striking distance. A win this week would keep him in the hunt. But we're going to move on to both sides of the bond, going up against Alexander's Greats.
My white flag.
6-game win streak, man. I don't know how he's doing it. I believe Jose broke the numbers down for us during the week. They got into a little bit of a Texan match, if you will. We'll dive into that when it comes up with league news. But 6 in a row for Alex. Now it's 6-3, second place in the West. Both sides of the bun, 3-6. Not having the year that we all anticipated. I'm pretty sure I had them in the playoffs. I know you had yourself in the playoffs, and I don't really remember what I'm sure you
I
had
had
them in the
myself
playoffs.
in the playoffs. Too.
Injuries going into this week. Carson out, Drake out, Mosert continues to be out, who I think is going to continue to be out this week. But for Alex, that would be a big get, having him come back. But diving into the game, for Joe, Lamar Jackson, a little less than 19 points. I guess we can probably say he's been your biggest disappointment for where you drafted him.
Not good.
Great insight. 4 players under 8 points, not going to get it done. Now for Alex, Mahomes, big week, a little less than 31. And Adams, of course, I believe that was the Thursday night, right? A little less than 29, so that was a great way to start.
Version of Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
Dude, he had 3 running backs that combined for 10.1. That's terrible.
Yeah. Put up a little over 100 points.
Beat me by like 18.
Yeah,
So.
no, I mean, and that's terrible. But he had 2 players kind of carrying him through, and then a couple other guys that did their job.
I'll tell you, the 3 of the 4 players that scored under 8 points are no longer on my team. So
What's the mood in the organization going forward?
clearing house. I told you.
Yeah, no, you did text me that earlier in the week.
Yeah.
We don't think any
Hollywood-
shot at the playoffs. I know
Hollywood
Hollywood's
got
on the
cut.
market.
Yeah,
That
he's
was we would consider that a big move, right? He was drafted pretty high.
5th, 6th round.
That is a
It's a compliment.
connection
Lamar.
he has with the quarterback that you have. I would think that is that's a big move. That's a big drop. Tells you where the team is, where they think they are.
Yeah.
Are we saying no shot at the playoffs? I think we're sitting.
Nah, well,
out,
I'm
2
good.
games back.
After I beat Mike this week, then I'll.
After you stop the streak.
9-1 sounds a little bit worse than 9-0. It's going to be great because I'll beat them this week to end the streak, and then I'll beat them in the playoffs to go on to the championship. So we're looking good. We're all right. We're right where we want to be.
In the beginning of the year, if I told you 3-6, this is where you would tell me you wanted.
Right where we want to be.
But that,
I have to keep Alex engaged in the league his first year back.
we know what
yeah.
happens.
So we keep him engaged. We let him have his little spat with Jose. I jump Jose, then I beat Bry and his little streak that he has going on.
That'd be nice.
And then yeah, absolutely. I got you guys. I've been beating up on the East all year. Why stop now? And then I have I beat Brock to jump him, and then it's me and Jose for the last spot. And I mean, come on.
Okay.
Jose's team is.
Simple math right there for everybody at home watching. That's
He's
how
going to win every week. That's all.
both sides
That's
of the
all.
bun has a
Right.
path to the playoffs. I guess we'll call it that. We'll see you in a couple weeks. But that wraps up week 9. Any other thoughts on week 9? It was a division week.
No.
A lot of things got shaken up. Both divisions. Obviously, Mike stayed in first. Steve stayed in first. But underneath them, everything kind of went haywire. Jay, we'll see what week 10 brings. We're going to go on to the Commissioner's Power Rankings, the anticipated Commissioner's Power Rankings. We'll see if Mike was able to hold on to that number 1 spot.
All right. Coming in at number 12.
You got to keep it compelling.
Hold on to your seats. Number 12. Tommy.
Whoa.
Number 11. Tom. Just Tom. Not Tom.
There's a difference in every
Yeah.
case anyway. Yeah.
Number
On the outside,
10.
on the outside.
For just this 1 week, we put ourselves there, we get motivated, we jump up to, when I beat Mike this week, I'm number 1 next week, just letting you know. It's me. Number 9's Matt. You're still, 6 in a row. I couldn't drop you lower than me, your team's a little bit better, but. Number 8,
Appreciate that.
despite his win, I put Brock, I just don't like the way his injuries are still lined up, I think he has to prove it a couple weeks in a row for me.
Guys, championship last year, and he's just gets no respect.
No,
usually.
we're not judging, I'm not.
Bottom half of the West usually gets no respect.
I'm not giving power rankings for last year. This is off the team right now. Number 7, Brian. He's on a little bit of a run, so he's moving up a little bit. But you gotta crawl before you walk. So he's moved a few steps. Number 6 is Jake. Hurt running backs.
Yes.
And the other,
Hurt spirits.
yeah, spirits. And, yeah. Number 5, Jose, out of the top 2.
Drop it a week.
Score a bunch of points early in the year, but when you lose some games in a row, sorry man, gotta drop it. Number 4, Alex. Not top 3.
Man, I think we're gonna hear about that.
Good win, man. Like, congrats.
I think we're gonna hear about
I
that.
mean, I think I lost the game more than you won the game. Russell Westbrook for you. What are you talking about, man? Whole deal. Walk away from the press. Number 3, Charlie.
Surprise of the year.
We got it East in the top 3 besides Steve. Which, by the way, number 2 is Steve. Leading the league in points, but I can only do so much. He's still
Sound the alarms, man.
4 games back from the number 1.
Sound the alarms.
Again, for the final week before both sides of the bun jumps to number 1. Letting you guys know now, it's Mike.
I believe that's like 8 weeks
God,
in
I'm
a
gonna
row
beat his
now.
ass.
Can we just do the power rankings from like 12 to 2? For the
But then
ones that'll,
you won't
the
hear
ones
my name
that'll
next week.
actual fluctuate.
But then you won't hear my name next week.
Hey, it's not fair, man.
Any big drops? I think it was Jose fell from 2 to 5.
Alex stayed still despite his playoff train choo-choo,
Choo-choo.
whatever he...
On move.
Yeah. Charlie's
Next stop.
Charlie's moving on up, right? He was 7 last week. He's 3 now.
Yeah, it's a big jump. Jose dropped.
Tom is plummeting down the ranks. He's
Yeah.
down at 11 from 8 and the week before. I
If it
think.
wasn't for Tom Me, I think Average Joe's would
Well,
be
stay tuned, man. You never know. There's still plenty of room to keep dropping. I'm at 13 here. Keep people lower. Yeah. But I think that's really it. Tom's the
Tom
big
Me
drop.
Jose. All right. Well, we appreciate the Commissioner's Power Rankings this week. We're going to move on to league news. We had a trade deadline. We haven't had a show since the trade deadline last week. Quiet. Like I said, Kenny Galladay and Brian Hill for Justin Jackson and Tyler Boyd was the only move that happened. Anything close for you guys? I know we talked about you.
No, we talked about it already.
Yeah, I mean,
I know we talked about a trade.
Yeah, we probably would have figured something out if me, you, and Tom all jumped in a group chat together.
Yeah, if we did the 3-team trade, yeah, that's something we talked about afterwards.
I know you and I were talking, you and Tom were talking, and I was talking with Tom to try to give him Cup so I
Yeah.
can get Montgomery to package to you.
Yeah,
and
the
then-
hold up for me and Tom was he didn't want 2 Chargers, which would have been Justin Jackson and Keenan Allen on his team. And that would have been Justin Jackson and Boyd. I would have just flipped them for Montgomery, Kirk, and the Redskins, the Washington football team's defense for the week. I needed a defense, so they were actually getting thrown in there.
And that's where Cup came into play because he would have had Cup.
Yeah, and then I even mentioned to him about Cup. I'm like, well, I was like, I think I can kind of get Cup if you want Cup. I can flip him to you if Boyd's not, Boyd or Higgins not the one you want. But yeah, I had I reached out to most people. Brock, I love Brock's responses on trades. But pretty much everyone answered.
I'll say Mike and I don't know how he felt about it. I felt like we were pretty close to a deal prior to your deal. I think
America, you want to step in on this?
we still had some negotiating to do, but I mean, I feel like it was a good starting point anyway.
I got surprised with the deal. I mean, that took what, 3 texts?
Yeah, about 10 seconds.
I was like, yeah, I'll take him. I needed a running back. We see how that worked out for me. But I needed a running back. I felt like, if anything, I would lose. Boyd's having a better year. If anything, I'd lose on the back end a little bit on Boyd and Galladay. But I got that running back 2 that I needed. And that doesn't look like it's going to turn out too well right now. But other than that, I don't know of any close calls. No one said anything to me. I don't think they said anything to Joe. So pretty much a quiet trade deadline. I know Brian, like 2:45, asked what time the trade deadline was, and I'm pretty sure everybody was, besides me, was.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Bry has the least amount of transactions on the year.
Yeah, I'm actually leading. I think moves because I just keep picking people up and dropping them.
Can you check it on
Yeah,
the
you made
daily?
6 moves this morning.
Brian has 21 acquisitions.
Yeah, I'm at like
No trades.
40 something. I think.
What's that looking like for everyone else?
Yeah,
You gotta go through team by
you
team.
gotta go team by team. I'll just say what I have.
You can look it up on the desktop. I can do that
I
later.
have 32.
Oh, I have 35.
Yeah, I have 32 with 2 trades.
I got 34.
All right. See what Mike has. Mike has more than.
I'm in the
Mike
50s.
probably has
Oh,
like
Mike has
7.
22.
Oh yeah.
So even you're sitting at 9-0,
Which probably I would say
Probably
is
is
as
22.
close to a perfect roster as you can get.
and you have
With
more
a
than
12 team
21.
league.
Yeah.
So it tells
I
you
just feel like-
you're still active.
I feel like Brian hasn't even been part of the league. This year.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
60?
You have 55.
Nick's very indecisive. He'll pick somebody up and then drop and pick somebody else up, and then they'll get hurt in practice. He'll go back and pick the first guy.
Then they'll get put on the practice squad, and I'm
I
like,
was
fuck, I
waiting to
gotta
see,
drop
like-
him, and then I realize the player that I have is not going to play, so I need to pick up the guy on the fucking practice squad. I need to pick him back up. Luckily, he wasn't in claim status till the next week. I've had that happen to me before. I went to pick somebody up like for the third time, and it's like, dude, you gotta wait a week. But yeah, that was it for the trade deadline. Like I said, quiet. I think we talked about moving the deadline. If we can't do like a hard deadline on ESPN, maybe having like a league vote and maybe putting it at like 8 p.m. the night before, like that Thursday would have been 8 p.m. deadline. This
Before
way,
the Thursday game.
yeah, exactly. Before the Thursday game, so this way you have that 10-minute window to get the players in if you trade for anybody on Thursday night. But that's something for the offseason. Fab this week, big money, I would actually moderate money, I guess, on defense. I know everybody in this room put money on them. Matt won out with 6. I had a bid of 3. I believe Joe had 4. Steve 5. 3. America, did you put a claim on them?
6.
Oh, okay. So Matt beat you on
Snake me.
The fact that I suck.
awesome.
Yeah, the fact that I suck. That's how I got
There
it.
you go. We like to see that. And then the other big one was Ryan
I'll
Nall.
take it. I
If
did
anybody
some
knows who the fuck that is,
Chicago,
Brian spent $5 on him.
It's the Chicago running back.
Word.
Okay.
All right, diving into the group text, we had a little beef. Alex, Jose, we touched on. Alex throwing out some shade to Jose for the upcoming week, and Jose came back with numbers, as we I guess we can expect from someone like Jose. And breaking it down, Alex's streak over the last 6 weeks. I think he said he would have beat him 4 out of 6 weeks. Is that
That's what Jose
Yes.
said.
Jose said that right? I would have beat you 4 out of 6
Yes.
weeks. You're lucky that you're a pussy. And
Here
he didn't say that.
Nah.
That's right. Jose wouldn't say that. Brian talking a comeback after a
See you guys in the center chair next week.
Brian talking comeback.
League office is going to be happy about that.
Brian talking comeback, and the champ seems to be on that trail. Like I said, he climbed even.
The worst champion. Can we talk about
Yeah,
the worst kind of
yeah.
champion?
It's a shitty year for
trophy's
the fact that
upstairs.
we're having. We started the show and everything. It'd just be like a nice time to have the reigning champ come on.
I get mine back from the.
We can't get Brian on. Doesn't seem like.
Can
But
we
yeah,
talk about the worst kind of champion too?
Matt.
You're the champ. No, but like at least Matt was. He would still talk like
Matt was
Matt's
gracious,
not going to
and
talk
I
shit.
didn't change
But,
my whole
right,
personality.
He would
depending
he
upon
would
how I was
say
feeling.
right. He would stay heel the whole entire season. Brian, one week he's not talking at all. The next week he's the best fantasy player ever if he wins. Then when he loses, he's back to quiet. And it's
But we could have agreed that would have been the perfect time for Matt to turn heel.
yeah.
With a championship
He
win.
should have.
That's serious. That would have been the perfect time for Matt to turn heel.
Yeah.
Your first one got to be babyface.
Our
Your first one's got to be babyface.
I feel like our
We'll turn heel
champions
in a
with the center chair excluded have been pretty mild mannered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, mild
I'll let me
tempers.
get
I
the
guess
truth.
Jose. You know,
I'm not a dick.
Jose. I think Jose had a little bit. Brian had with the when he put out the picture with the mask on. That was pretty funny. The trophy with the mask. I like that one. But yeah, you would like to see a little bit more. I know you don't have the trophy anymore, but I would still be talking shit all year.
Hasn't been the same
I think
since
I did
that
in
headache.
17, and that's what I'd be doing. But yeah, like I said, Brian on the comeback, pulled even record-wise. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Behind in points, but he's starting to creep on everybody.
Wait,
Steve,
he's even record wise.
yeah, Bryce 4 and 5 with me.
Oh, okay.
Third
Even
place.
with you.
Me, Brian,
Hard
Tom.
to be even through 9 weeks.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like even through 9 weeks. Keep going. You're good.
That's why I sit in this chair.
Because you know that 9 is even number.
Yes. Steve taking over the points lead overall. Can I get an exact number on that?
Yeah.
1,046.
And in case you guys didn't hear, Steve took over the points lead. Only just said it a couple times.
1,046.98. So basically
98.
League
1,047.
mute, bro. And of course, sanitation department goes to 9. I don't know if we talked about that yet or not. Any other league news you guys want to touch on? Or I'm not moving fast enough here.
Matt lost 6 in a row.
Matt's
I lost 6
in a
straight,
row.
guys.
Alex won 6 in a row.
Alex won
I know we
6 in a
talked
row.
about that. I don't want to
Mike's
talk about
won
it
9 in a
again.
row.
Yeah.
Who?
Mike? The guy that's 9-0, he won 9 straight.
Oh yeah, that's
If
right.
you,
right
if you look at
Sanitation
it.
department on a 9-game winning streak.
How
They
many
won
games
9
has
in a
Tommy
row.
lost? I think that's the second
Tommy lost
longest
7 in a row.
streak.
Tommy's lost 7 in a row.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did he?
shit,
What a
yeah.
loser! What a loser! I don't have the worst streak. Look at me.
Look at you.
Second worst. I'll take. I have the shut up. That's neither here nor there.
All right, I think that wraps it up for league.
What was it? 9 in a row? That was how many you lost in
It might have been.
That's the longest streak.
3-9.
Yeah.
So you got.
I finished 4-9 that year. Okay, it was 9 straight losses, but I finished 4-9.
So we could
13.
see the longest active winning streak and the longest losing streak this year.
Along with maybe a perfect season. What a fucking
Well,
year, COVID.
A 9's
What a year, COVID.
9's the end of the streak. So Mike's going down.
All right, we'll see in our weekly predictions what the commissioner has to say about that. But
That's it.
for the 5th time, that's it for league news. We do have a guest this week. We have the owner of B Block's Finest going to be joining us in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. We're here with our guest from B Block's Finest, the owner, Stephen Lobley. Before we dive in there, I want to clear up my comments from earlier and apologize to Alex on anything I said that might offend him. I don't want him leaving the league. Even at 6-3, we all know that's a potential. Moving on. Steve, you took over. Actually, you maintained your lead in the East. Everybody was at 4-4. You're now sitting at 5-4 with Charlie, but you have him in points. So congratulations on that. 2 weeks in a row. That's something that was hard to come by in the East this year. So we'll talk. How you feeling about that after 9 weeks sitting in first place? How's that feel? No one cares.
I just want to add that I'm also taking the lead in points total as well, like overall point total.
By how many?
You've been here watching. I
By
believe
more than
we
you.
have spoken about that, Joe. I believe I was
6.
7 times.
7 times. I believe I was told to speed it up because I talked about that so much.
I'm pretty sure. I wasn't sure if you talked about that more or
So
how hurt your running backs were.
Right.
Which one?
Commissioner, you had a question?
Yeah, we have some comments coming in from some people.
Oh, I'm sorry. We
some,
didn't get into our...
No, we didn't.
I'm sorry. I
Oh, that's
didn't
fine.
even-
Like,
Center chair.
Steve can help answer.
You would think my colleagues here would inform me that we did have questions, but I wasn't informed. That's
No,
why
I don't
we
have
went
anything
and told,
cool going.
Anonymous owner number 1.
Right,
wants
now we're
to
going to
know.
dive into them when we're not supposed to, because that's supposed to be under
Things are
news.
going off the
But
rails,
now,
folks.
the guy who
Comment.
wants to run the league, he wants to run the show.
Jose is
he wants to
finished.
run everything. Who said that?
Anonymous owner number 1. Come on, keep up.
I think it was Brock.
Is that all that was said?
That's it.
No.
Jose's finished.
He's an illusion all year, a bum. Next stop off the train.
Oh, I think we know who it is. All right.
Why would Mike say something
Or
about a
Magabor.
train?
So that is coming from anonymous owner is Alex. Spoiler alert.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
didn't see that coming. Right?
No.
He also says, just Jose, you're not making the playoffs because his team's great, your team stinks.
So this beef's ramping up.
Yeah.
And I hope Alex does know he can only trolls one of them playoff spots. Jose could still get the 3rd playoff spot.
I don't know if he knows that.
Fucking retard.
Yeah, I don't think he knows that now.
No, it doesn't seem
When they
like
play each other this week, I think he's expecting to beat him and kind of just.
Do they play each other this week?
Yeah.
Those two guys. You assume he's expecting up.
Potential
I'm
game of the
starting
week.
I'm starting to see a pattern here for Alex.
Yeah, he just talks shit
On whoever he's
whoever's
playing.
Yeah, that'll be it.
Picking up on that, huh?
Gotcha.
He's gonna tell Mike next time.
Yeah.
that he's gonna
Week
make
12 is going to
Any
be so
questions?
much
Do we have
fun.
any from our favorite fan, Charlie?
No.
No.
Charlie did not send anything in.
All right, Charlie.
I think he said all business this week.
flag football
All
practice
business.
All
Saturday.
Charlie
I think he said,
5-4,
right?
so,
Yeah. Flag football practice Saturday.
That's
Charlie's.
Charlie's.
3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time.
For anyone's in the flag football league.
Yes, or wants to be in a flag football league.
So why don't we talk about the bye, Steve? Right now, like I said, you're sitting in first place. Obviously, that would be huge, getting the bye. How far do you think this team can go with or without a bye? I mean, like I said, you're in first place now.
I mean,
the
I
roster
can-
you constructed, how far do you think this team?
I think I can win it all personally,
Okay,
but
bold statement.
yeah, I mean,
Like, dude.
I got
We've been
good
here
team.
before, 11-2,
Yeah,
a couple years ago.
yeah.
I know
And then
we
I
all
dropped
remember-
60 in the playoffs.
I know we all remember. that.
Arguably the number 1 running back, the number 1 tight end. He's got a top 8 to 10 wide receiver.
Yeah, like I said, the skill position players hit. You got Cook, Kelsey, and then Brown. I believe just
AJ Brown.
making AJ Brown. I'm sorry, making a splash this year.
Not Antonio.
Yeah, making a splash this year, and that's been a good acquisition for B Block's Finest.
Or
Jay, how do you
Marquise. Also not Marquise Brown.
Marquise, yeah, not,
No,
not
not
Hollywood
Hollywood.
either.
Not him.
how do you feel about the teams behind you? Do you feel like there's any competition? Who do you feel is the
Yes.
biggest threat to your team? Who
I was
has,
saying this to Joe before the show started, that I feel like the biggest threat to me, even though he's 3-6, is Matt.
It's me.
Yeah, Matt has a good team.
Yeah.
As you can tell, projections. I think Matt's up to He keeps reminding us without Nick Chubb, he's at like
119.
119. When he puts Nick Chubb in, who's coming back off an injury
121-ish.
after the past 6 or 7 weeks with another good running back, he's just miraculously going to go
Well,
down.
I'm hoping you beat him just to ruin his playoff hopes.
3-7, I think. Yeah, I think that would pretty much put Matt out of it. But
Not hard.
is that your only competition? I mean, do you feel if Matt doesn't make the playoffs, do you feel like you have just an easy road to the finals?
No, I do not think
Final?
that. I can never. I hadn't won a playoff game yet in my career, so
Yeah,
I
that
can't
is
ever say.
I think ahead, right?
Me
Yeah.
either, but my path is easy.
He called a shot earlier. I mean, this is a show of bold statements.
Yeah.
So if you were going to make a statement in this league, you make it on this show.
I think Matt's my toughest competition, even though he's 3-6. I think Charlie has a good team.
So I'm going to ask you again: if Matt don't make the playoffs, is it a clear path?
Nah,
to
I think
championship?
Charlie
You
has
just
a
told
good
me-
team.
You just
I
told
think
me
Charlie
he's
has a
your
good team
competition.
too. I just said Charlie has a good team too. I think you stink. I beat you twice already.
Okay, I don't. You don't got to make it personal. I'm just asking the hard hitting questions. All of a sudden, you're getting mad at me.
No, he's getting mad.
Man, you want to get mad?
Malcolm, another Brown that wasn't
Yes.
on his team.
Thank
Well, I
you.
mean, okay.
We don't cover all of
I
that.
have
You,
three
well,
of them.
do you want to have him rank how he views the East
I
as
just
it
asked him. He
stands?
told me Matt's the only
Oh,
competition.
well,
and
no,
I
like
tried to
have him,
ask him.
have him rank it out.
Yeah.
I tried to ask him if like Matt don't make the playoff. Like
I said Charlie.
New segment
I
on the
said
show.
Charlie.
I'm his
Steve
biggest
ranks the
competition.
East. And go. Steve ranks the East outside of
Steve
yourself.
ranks the East outside of myself.
bottom to top, 6-1,
5 to
5-1.
1.
I'm sorry,
5-1.
6-2.
Tom 5.
Okay,
And then I'm gonna say
We doing 5 to 1 or 6 to 2?
6-2, and Steve's 1.
So Tom 6.
Tom 6.
Six.
All right, so Tom 6. All right, well you
I mean,
guys
we
are
get-
confusing
I'm just
me.
trying to follow.
Things
You
are
guys are
falling
confusing numbers.
apart.
Tom 6. Brian's 5. Jake's 4. Charlie's 3. Matt's 2.
At 3-6, Matt's 2.
Matt's 2. If Matt gets into the playoffs, he's
Golly.
my scariest opponent.
Right.
Fucking squeak in.
How was your trade deadline? Quiet.
Very quiet. I had
Was anybody asking anything?
I had Mike hit me up for Latavius Murray, who he traded to me for Robert Tonyan, who's no longer on his team. And I had one other person hit me up for Travis Kelce,
That
but
was
I was
mine.
already asleep.
Tells you how this league operates. People were sleeping on trade deadline day. This is
You
why
can't have a trade deadline at 3 o'clock in the morning.
we are going to actively in the
We
offseason
can.
try to move on.
And we will.
Yes, I
And
believe
we
there were owners up. I was up till 3. I know the
I was
commission
up
was
till
up late.
2:40.
Yeah, I texted Joe real late. It was probably about 2:45 when I asked him about the latest part of our trade
Yeah.
with no answer. But I know he was up late.
I would have taken that deal too.
Yeah, I think that would have
Good
been that
deal.
would have helped me this week.
Matt
I
went to
would've
bed in
lost-
the middle of negotiations with him.
Hindsight-
I would have took that
Matt's
deal
up
if
at
Mike
Matt.
Davis was
No,
not
no,
on
no,
it.
I had a
Hindsight-
migraine. It took an hour long.
Well, that's what he
nap to
asked
do
me.
it.
He was like, "Is Mike Davis
Yeah,
going to be in
I would have
Boston?"
given if you would have given me Mike Davis too. I
I
would have taken
said,
it.
I said, well, I don't know. I said, because right now he's not. He hasn't been asked about. But with hindsight, I kept saying, well, I can't lose this week. I lost this week anyway. That trade would have helped me tremendously. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but that's just how fantasy football works. Any other thing you want to throw out?
Steve ranked the West.
Do you want to rank
Rank
the
the
West?
Yeah,
West.
ranked the West. 6 to 1 this time.
6-1.
Yes.
Okay. Tommy,
Tommy.
Brock. You're not even
Nah.
4, dude.
Really? Who's for?
Alex team to me is not that good.
Choo choo.
Yeah, fuck you, Alex. Beat me by 0.2.
So,
Wrestling choo choo.
Even aside from record, what we
I'm not
what we
including
consider
records.
the
If I'm looking at strictly
listen,
rosters,
what we consider the bottom part of the West, quote unquote. That's how you say
is
it.
actually our
yeah.
strength.
Third of
I'm
the
looking
bottom.
at
bottom.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Alex is on a 16 winning streak, but Jose's right. It's been a lot of luck. The guy beat me by
You
0.24.
got Brock at 5-4, who has a tremendous amount of injuries this year. I mean, just like
Yeah, and
everybody
he's
else,
another one
but
that's got
he's still
luck,
sitting
too,
at
though.
5-4 in a playoff spot.
Yeah, right, but I think Joe's team roster-wise is better than Brock's.
Okay.
I think
So that puts me 3.
you're 3.
Jose's 2.
Jose's 2.
Mike's 1.
And unfortunately, Mike's 1
What do you mean, unfortunately?
because you're a piece of shit.
Wow.
All right, well, we
I got
got,
no
I got
friends
one
in
more
the league.
question for you. It's about ice cream Scoopergate. Steve received a phone call while we were all actually at FaceTime and got
He did
blasted.
FaceTime, yeah.
As soon as he answered the phone, it wasn't a hi, hello, anything like that. It was,
Hold on, I
"What
think
the
we-
fuck is my ice cream scooper?
We have the transcript. Yo, motherfucker.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Where the fuck is my ice cream scooper?
And then she called him fat,
Yes.
small, and bald, and all this fucking
Your son
shit.
I believe Steve responded with, "Hold on, your son had the ice cream
Yeah,
scooper."
so-
She said, "You're a fucking liar. You eat ice cream every day, you fat piece of shit."
Tells
This is
you,
not what
it
happened.
tells you
I
about the
think
guy
that's
leading the East
exactly
right
what-
now. He put the blame on his child.
To be fair, I got a text message afterwards, and she said, "I found the ice cream scooper in your son's toy box."
That's
Now the question is,
Whose son is he?
It's not mine.
the question I had was, why was Steve in his son's toy box with the ice cream
Why
scooper?
did you hide the ice cream scooper in your son's toy box? You trying to pass off
I was
blame?
trying
Like
to.
you had it, you didn't clean it.
Yeah,
You're like, oh
exactly.
shit, I ain't got nothing.
Yeah,
A
I was
toy
like,
box.
fuck, you know.
Yeah.
I'm eating ice cream again. Let me hide this real quick. But
That just shows you when you
You
do
want
well
that.
in this league, you can do whatever you want in life.
You just blame it on your kid.
Yeah.
Get away with it.
You
that's
know,
what happens when you have kids. Blame it on them.
So Matt don't make the playoffs. Do you have an easy path to the finals?
No, I don't think so.
You're
I think-
such a fucking pussy, dude.
I
Just
don't.
say yeah.
Why do you keep asking me the same question, dude?
Just
I don't.
say
I think
yeah.
Charlie has a good team. I think
I'll
you have a
say,
decent
even if
team.
Mike does and when he does make the
Because
playoffs,
there's three
I still have an
dickheads.
easy
There's
path to the
three.
finals.
There's actually 3.5 dickheads in the East, and it's you, Tom, and Brian. You guys are like the three
Is
guys
Brian
that
and a
talk
half?
shit.
Or no,
Brian-
2.5, right?
Yeah, well, Charlie is in and out, depending too. But Charlie generally talks shit, and I guess Brian would be the head. Steve and I don't generally ever really talk shit.
Yeah, that's why you guys would be terrible champions. All right,
I'm
well, we're
almost
gonna,
champion though, ain't I?
we're gonna keep our guest on for our weekly predictions. Let me turn my page here, and we're gonna bring up our schedule. We're gonna start as we always do with yours truly. Kick it off with the commissioner. The Wisconsin Radskins going up against Globo Gym Purple Cobras. Right now, it looks like the Radskins are a 12.5 point favorite. Commish,
Yeah, give me Matt.
give you Matt. Matt, I know who you like this
Give
week.
me Matt.
I'm gonna go Matt. See if I can change my
The
fortunes.
streak ends this week.
See if I can
Multiple
change
streak,
my fortunes. America.
Jake.
Oh God, that's never good.
Have you voted for me in the past, like
Guess?
ever?
does that on purpose.
Douche.
I'm gonna go with Matt.
Yeah.
4-1.
As much as I want Jake to win.
Next game we have on the schedule: shirts off, pants down, going up against C Block's Biggest Loser. This
Well,
is
that's a big game.
I was about to say this is a big one in the East.
Potential,
They're all big in the East. Every game right now is big,
Yeah.
obviously. But
Have
this
you
has a
selected
lot
game of the
of,
week?
yeah, there's a lot of playoff.
This might be
implications.
game of the week.
Potential.
definitely-
We're gonna run through them. We'll get
Go
back to
4
you at
or
the
5.
end of this. But right now, shirts off, pants
Oh, no,
down
never mind. Not game of the week.
is a
What else,
Jose and Alex.
6.5. Oh, excuse me, 5.5 point underdog.
Give me Charlie.
5.5.
Joe, go what's wrong?
Wait,
Yeah.
why did yours say 102.5?
Matt.
Charlie.
Sure. All right, I'm gonna go Bry. America.
Char by 10.
I like Charlie.
All right, once again, I think I was the only oddball.
Who'd you get, Brian?
Yes. Oh no, I'm sorry, America. Next game in the East, B Block's finest
Yeah,
going up
I
against
knew that.
Average Joe's. I don't know what the fuck Tom has going on with his team right now, but Joe, who you like?
I'm gonna go Steve.
Yeah, good one.
Did I update it?
Yeah,
Matt?
Steve. Let's say even if you update, if you give Tom a quarterback, it puts him at like 95.
Steve,
It's still
I'm gonna
gonna
take
be
Steve as my lock of the week.
Damn
It's a terrible lock.
Boy, you want the lock?
America, lock of the week.
Steve.
Lock,
Lock of the week? Locking it up? Lock of the
And
week for
guest?
America.
I'm gonna take Steve.
Lock of the week?
Nah, not the lock.
You don't get a fucking lock of the week. Moving on to the West, the Polska Mafia going up against the Brock football team. I don't know why I said the. I don't know what the hell these people got going on with the rosters right now. It's fucking
That's his
Wednesday.
full roster.
Wednesday.
That's actually his full roster. They are his best players.
God, I get to play him next week. That's so awesome. Right now, it looks like Brock's like a fucking 15-point favorite. Kamish.
Give me Tommy.
Why would you?
Matt?
I'm gonna take Brock.
I feel like this is a layup. I'm going to take Brock. America?
The streak ends. Tommy.
Jesus Christ, you guys are silly.
Guest?
I'm gonna take Brock. The obvious answer here.
Moving on to the next game. I would say game of the week, right?
Yes.
Game of the week?
Is anything else?
Yeah, can we agree on that? Game of the week? What is going on with people's teams this week?
He doesn't have a quarterback. He doesn't have another quarterback roster.
Oh, okay.
Did you see Tom didn't have a quarterback in either?
Yeah, I did, but teams are teams.
If you put a quarterback in on
He's
Alex,
definitely
he's probably
game.
projected to. Yeah, he'd be projected to beat Jose right now.
Okay, I was about to say, Jose
If
got
you give him a
somebody
quarterback,
up.
like if you give him like Big Ben or something, or if you
He's
give him
18. He'll be projected to win by
Burrow.
like 3.
All right, so we'll give them, we'll say 16 for a quarterback and basically
Pick 'em.
call it even, right? We'll call it a pick 'em this week. Game of the week, pick 'em.
Yes, I am going to go Alex. Train keeps rolling.
Train keeps rolling. 7 in a row. Matt?
I am going to go Jose.
I agree with Matt. I think things are going to tighten up out there in the West. I'm going to go Jose. America?
Unfortunately, the train is going to be derailed. Jose.
And guess.
I'm gonna go with Jose. No, I changed my mind. I'm gonna go with Alex. I'm gonna go with Alex this week.
Last minute audible.
And the last game we have, we got the commissioner, both sides of the bun, going up against the 9-0 Slack Sanitation. We've had the commissioner guarantee a win this week, so
Lock it up.
lock of the week.
Lock of the week. That's for me. Lock of the week.
I know who you were taking. I
Both
got
sides
that
of the
part.
bun.
Matt?
Takes down the
I'm
9-0
gonna
Santa.
take Joe.
Let's go. Lock it up.
I'm going to take Mike.
Who'd you take, Mike?
America.
Shocker. We waited all that time for this. Mike, yeah. America. America is Mike, by the way. New subscriber.
Shut up. They don't know.
Welcome. Steve, who are you taking?
I'm gonna take Joe.
What are you doing with that pick?
Lock of the
Let's
week.
go.
You ice cream eating pussy.
Alright. Well,
Let's go over our locks of the week. So you have
alright, so you want to go game by game or just run them down?
just a lock, whoever your lock is.
Okay. Joe picked himself for lock of the week. Matt picked Joe for lock of the week. I picked Steve for lock of the week. America, did you give me a lock of the week?
He picked me.
You pick Steve.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I must not have heard you there. And then
And I disrespected him by taking Joe.
in America, taking Joe. No, excuse me, our guest, taking Joe.
3 locks of the week.
A lot of confidence in you, Joe.
This one was
Don't
fun.
fuck it up.
Matt's lost every game he's called for. What does he know?
Joe's gonna get
What?
one of them.
I've
This
lost
one.
every game I call
I'm gonna
myself
get
for.
one now.
No.
Well, that's it for week 9. We got week 10 coming up. Playoffs are heating up. I keep saying this every week. I keep teasing them, but I believe we should have playoff odds for next
Tune
week.
in next week.
For playoff odds.
And
That's
we will have playoff odds.
100%.
Potential championship.
We talked
matchup
about it.
today.
We talked about it, and then yes, week 11 would bring us cross division games. But let's get through week 10 before our guest here starts talking about week 11. You guys want to?
But tune in next week for playoff odds.
Yeah,
we
playoff
will have
odds.
them.
We
Or
definitely
we will tell you to tune in the week after.
for playoff odds.
Yes.
Because if we don't have them
Or
next
week
week,
13.
We
We
definitely
will
have to talk about it about
have
15
them
minutes
on week
before
12.
next week's show.
we will have them before week 12.
We
That's
will have them
100%.
week 14.
But
Rest
the plan
assured.
is
Yeah.
to have them before
They'll be
week
concrete.
11.
Ooh, Antonio Gibson held out of practice. Did I take Brock?
Thank you everybody for doing the show.